To the Premier League, a warm welcome to the Emirates Stadium in London. It's Arsenal against West Ham tonight, round 17 of the English Premier League season. And welcome wherever you are around the world watching this one live on Flash Score's audio commentary service or on flashscore.co.uk. Arsenal, the Premier League leaders, lining up as expected with Eddie Nketiah up front. The number 14 up top for Arsenal, with big boots to fill tonight. Gabriel Jesus not available after the injury that he picked up, of course, as all Arsenal fans and most Premier League fans will know by now in the World Cup. He could be out until March. Standing in Arsenal's way tonight, it's West Ham, the away side, in their black away strips. Just a hint of claret and blue on the piping at the end of the sleeves for the West Ham players tonight. They're in their away shirts, of course, because they have made the journey, the rather short journey, on this Boxing Day across London for one of the Premier League's many London derbies. The starting lineup tonight for Arsenal: Mikel Arteta has gone with Aaron Ramsdale in goal, Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, William Saliba and Ben White across the back four, Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey in the midfield, with Martin Odegaard, the captain as well for Arsenal, and up top Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah, as mentioned already, yet to score in the Premier League this season, but nevertheless on a good run of form when he's been called into the starting 11 for Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. And Gabriel Martinelli up top for Arsenal as well. It's still a dangerous looking attack for this Arsenal team. There's a reason that they lead the Premier League, having won 12 of their 14 matches so far. The story has been rather different for West Ham United. We mustn't forget what David Moyes has done at that club in the last few years. They finished 6th and 7th in their last two Premier League seasons. But right now, they're just 1 point above the drop zone, David Moyes' team. Łukasz Fabianski in goal, as expected as well. And across the back four, it's Aaron Cresswell, Craig Dawson, Thilo Kehrer and Vladimir Coufal. Midfield duo, Declan Rice with the captain's armband and Thomas Souček. The attacking midfield trio for West Ham: Said Benrahma, Lucas Paqueta and Jared Bowen. And it's the Jamaican striker Michail Antonio who will be leading the line for West Ham. The stats are against them, but football rarely comes down to the statistics. Arsenal will have to hit the ground running to maintain their lead at the top of the Premier League, or maintain the gap at least to Manchester City, who don't play. This is the last of the evening's Premier League games. Manchester City yet to come. They've got their game against Leeds United, an away trip to Elland Road. That's on Wednesday at 8 PM UK time. You can find that one on Flash Score live audio commentary as well. But for now, it's the last of the Boxing Day fixtures in the English Premier League, and it will be West Ham in their all-black shirts, shorts and socks by the looks of it, who get us underway. It's a bright yellow football, no snow on the ground, no need for the orange ball. It wasn't a white Christmas, but the Emirates is looking full and looking ready for match day 17, and Michael Oliver in his bright blue, sky blue top just signals for the players to take the knee for a second, and we'll be underway now at the Emirates Stadium for Premier League round 17. West Ham get us going, and they go back into their own half, and they'll launch the ball out towards the right, and straight away it's out for an Arsenal goal kick. Aaron Ramsdale, 24-year-old keeper, just plonks the ball down inside his 6-yard box and hoofs it way down across the halfway line into West Ham territory. Ramsdale in all yellow tonight, matching up with the colour of this Premier League football. And West Ham have won it back here in the Arsenal half. Simple defensive duties for Arsenal to take care of in the end. Arsenal, of course, in their famous home colours, with the red jerseys, white shorts and red socks. And it's Odegaard, the captain, with his yellow boots, who just brings it forward, lays the ball off to the left-hand side. Arsenal will try and get the cross in. It's blocked immediately from Gabriel Martinelli, and it's ricocheted back out for an Arsenal throw-in, down level with the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal take that one quickly and try to get restarted. They're looking for a free kick. They've got a player down, I think. They were looking for a free kick there. Martinelli clutching his right ankle. That won't be what Arsenal fans want to see, but referee Michael Oliver didn't see anything wrong. Through ball comes out towards Aaron Ramsdale, who has to come out of the area and boot that one downfield, where it's collected by Łukasz Fabianski, who's in grey tonight. He's down outside of his box, next to where Martinelli lays stricken on the ground, actually. Fabianski has taken the sociable approach and knocked it out of play. It was a challenge from Declan Rice. Rice with the captain's armband on for the away team today. His challenge was tough but fair, perhaps you could say. It left Martinelli in a heap, but it was just an introduction back to the Premier League. Drop ball only awaited by Łukasz Fabianski, the West Ham goalkeeper. 2 minutes on the clock. Arsenal 0, West Ham United 0. Nothing of note yet, but the positive news for Arsenal fans is that Gabriel Martinelli, the striker, or forward at least, with 5 goals and 2 assists to his name this season in 14 Premier League appearances, he's back on his feet, and the Arsenal number 11 looks set to continue. Defensive free kick for Arsenal, midway inside their own half, in a central position as well, and it's taken by William Saliba, one of several Premier League players, of course, who was involved in Qatar 2022. Saliba getting all the way to the World Cup final with France, but Arsenal still have it in the defence. Ben White, who flew back actually from the England squad throughout the tournament, he knocks it across. Arsenal just gently playing it around, halfway still within their own half. Gabriel goes into the centre circle. Arsenal still knocking it around. West Ham not really employing any kind of press at the moment. Mikel Antonio just comes and stands up, the number 9. But still Arsenal have it, and it's still just racking up the short pass statistics well inside their own half, and that one is contested by Declan Rice as they passed it forward towards the halfway line. Rice, according to referee Michael Oliver, was just a split second too late, and it's an Arsenal free kick. And again, they'll go back into their own territory and they'll knock it around inside their own half. It's come out to Ben White on the halfway line, and now the ball on the half volleys lofted forward to the right hand side, where Bukayo Saka picks it up for the first time, moves into space into the middle, advancing towards the penalty area, floats a high pass out towards the left corner of the penalty box. It's now 35 yards out in a central position. Thomas Partey chips it towards the penalty spot, but West Ham get it clear, and Rice with a secondary clearance all the way towards the halfway line. Arsenal have it back, and now they'll come again down the right hand side. It's the captain, Martin Odegaard, looks for the through ball. It will make it. It's a back heel in the box, and it's into the top corner at the near post. The offside flag will deny Arsenal their goal. Just over 4 minutes gone, and Bukayo Saka thought that he'd given Arsenal the early lead that they craved. The offside flag, though, from the assistant, Simon Bennett, rules it out. The through ball came in, and you know what? I wonder if VAR is going to take a look at this. Arsene Wenger on his feet in the stands. Couldn't resist a little fist bump there. Referee Michael Oliver, all eyes on him. West Ham look to get this restarted from the point that the offside was given, but from the replays it wasn't clear whether Arsenal were indeed offside. The ball just flicked off of Bukayo Saka's heel before it was then back-heeled neatly from the right of the penalty area. Referee allows things to play on. A sigh of relief for the West Ham fans out there. Arsenal 0, West Ham 0. A minute's stoppage, but crucially for the away team, no goal against them. Bukayo Saka's finish rifled in to the top corner at the near post. It was a lovely finish. Łukasz Fabianski, who's kept 3 clean sheets this season in his 15 Premier League appearances, was powerless to stop that one at his own near post. Fabianski, the man who's played 70 times actually for Arsenal. Many of you will remember, of course, Fabianski playing for Arsenal between 2007 and 2014, but he was beaten. It was only the offside flag that has allowed West Ham to stay level here. The stats, as I mentioned earlier, are heavily stacked in favour of the home team, Arsenal. They've won their last 3 in the Premier League before the break, 44 days after their last game in the Premier League, this one. As Arsenal try and burst free down on the right-hand side. There are 5 West Ham players down there on the corner of the penalty area, the right-hand corner. Arsenal have it with Thomas Partey in a central position, 30 yards out. He chips it over to the left, but it'll drift out. Vladimir Kufal, West Ham right back, is able to just muscle that one out of play, and it's a West Ham throw-in down level with the edge of their own penalty area. Thrown forward, Arsenal crowding around that. They do get a touch of the ball, but they can only put it out of play for another West Ham throw-in. They've gained a few yards down the right-hand side, West Ham. It's still with the right back who will throw it in halfway inside his own half. There's a nice flick on there down the right-hand side, though, for West Ham, rather. Arsenal with defending to do. West Ham tucked up against the touchline, and there's an overlap now, and they're down towards the byline on the right-hand side. Chip ball comes in across the 6-yard box, and it's headed away rather simply by Gabriel, the 25-year-old Brazilian. And now here come Arsenal down the same flank. It's their left. They just defended West Ham down the right. Now they go down themselves, again tucked up against the touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. The foul's a late challenge. West Ham can't believe it, but Jared Bowen has been penalised, and he's gone into the book already after just 7 minutes of play. It was a really nice run from Martinelli, who's back up at full fitness after the early knock, and Martinelli in his neon boots was brought to ground. Bowen on a caution already. It was a lovely run. Martinelli just breaking out into a burst of pace. He had the ball right up against the touchline and went all the way down from the edge of his own penalty area to the edge of the West Ham penalty area, and that is where Arsenal have this free kick. There's magic spray on the ground marking the location. It's Martinelli himself with the long sleeves and black gloves. Chilly night, of course, here in December. This fantastic Boxing Day tradition of Premier League football. Martinelli is up for it. It's his free kick. He raises his right arm before delivering that with the right foot, but it's headed away just on the edge of the 6-yard box by the West Ham defence. Arsenal try to win it back in the D, though, and they do with Thomas Partey. The Ghanaian did well to come back out of the penalty area and recapture that possession for Arsenal. The ball in. It's cleared away by Declan Rice with some difficulty. Arsenal win it back on the right, 10 yards back from the corner of the penalty area. Now it's with Granit Xhaka in a central position. Ødegaard just floating in behind the edge of the penalty area and just behind the two banks. There's a midfield bank of 5 for West Ham of the black shirts and a defensive bank of 4, all gathered near the edge of the penalty area, and they do indeed repel the ball in as Arsenal play it towards the box, and it's back with William Saliba. The young Frenchman has it with time and space inside his own half at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal 0, West Ham United 0 as we approach 10 minutes here at Emirates Stadium. You're live with us on FlashScore's live audio commentary service and on flashscore.co.uk as well. We've seen plenty of Premier League drama already today. There's been plenty of that covered live on FlashScore. You can join us again tomorrow for drama with Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, Chelsea against Bournemouth as well. But here come Arsenal, left-hand side of the penalty area. They've got a man on the overlap and it's chipped in again. The third or fourth time Arsenal have tried to chip one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and as with all the other attempts, that one's been headed away by the West Ham defence inside their own 6-yard box. Ødegaard direct into the middle, down towards the penalty spot. It was a low through ball towards Granit Xhaka, who was just meandering his way from the edge of the box in towards that penalty spot. It would have been a really good spot. Ødegaard 10 out of 10 for spotting the run of Xhaka there. The ball was just a pace in front of the experienced Swiss player who couldn't get on the end of it. West Ham have it now facing towards their own goal. Pressure from Ødegaard forces the ball back to the right back. It's cleared away by Dawson. It's a decent clearance as well. West Ham now have it down past the edge of the penalty area. Ball across the middle. A bit of a dangerous one there for Ramsdale, who had to come and punch the ball away low in front of his own goal. West Ham having some success down the right-hand side once they get into the final third. That was a nice idea. Jared Bowen 2 goals and no assists yet this season. It wasn't too far away from him registering his first assist with that cross. Well dealt with in the end by Aaron Ramsdale, the man who's kept 7 clean sheets in his Premier League appearances so far. Arsenal with 73% of the possession, West Ham with just 27. Both teams equally dangerous, you could say. No real chances falling to either side, other than the one which ended up in the back of the net for Arsenal and was ruled out by the offside flag. Arsenal 0, West Ham United 0. Here come the guests. The ball towards Antonio is a good one. Brings it down on his chest. Tries to volley it over a la Paul Gascoigne. It was a nice idea from Mikel Antonio. Jamaican forward got onto that on the edge of the Arsenal penalty area, but it was cleared by Ben White, former Brighton man. Saliba had to turn around quickly, and White was very much alert. Marty's got space to do something with it. Goes for the short pass towards Martinelli. Arsenal have it on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Chance for a low cross, and it is a low cross, and it's cut out by the West Ham defence, and it'll slowly roll its way over the line for an Arsenal throw-in parallel to the edge of the West Ham penalty area. Arsenal building up a bit of a head of steam here. Chance for a cross. They go for the low ball towards the corner of the box instead. Arsenal still working well. Martinelli with the nutmeg. Chance to cross it from Kieran Tierney towards the penalty spot. It's cleared away, just half cleared towards Ben White, who has it back now, 35 yards out, just in a central right-hand position. Thomas Partey goes for the through ball into the box, but it's blocked. Ben White has it now, right on the corner of West Ham's penalty area. Arsenal still in possession for a few minutes. Cross comes in, swinging towards the back post, and it's headed away. And West Ham win the loose ball in their box, and Paqueta will be able to bring it away. Goes towards his own corner flag, but passes it nicely towards the right-back position, where West Ham launch it forward towards Mikel Antonio. He's picked that up right in front of the referee in the centre circle. Break on now. Cresswell bursting forward down the left for West Ham. Saïd Benrahma has it now towards the edge of the penalty area. Cresswell on the overlap. Arsenal with more defending to do. Free kick's gone the way of the Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale, but that was another nice break for West Ham. They worked that carefully, they worked that very competently as well. Several players making the overlapping run. Arsenal with possession for so long, but as soon as West Ham won it, they just pressed those attacking transition buttons and burst away down the left-hand side. Well, it ended up with nothing though. Ramsdale came out towards the corner of his 6-yard box and was clipped as West Ham fought for it in the penalty area. Ben White has it now for Arsenal. Arsenal 0, West Ham 1. Still just over 10 minutes to go till half-time here. Ben White's ball's chipped forward. Arsenal have it in the penalty area with Nketiah. Turns out, passes it towards Saka. It's just under hit. Arsenal had a big chance there. Could Nketiah have pulled the trigger himself in the box? Perhaps he could have. He's walking away, cutting a rather dejected figure into the D. They'll have to shake off that dejection. Arsenal have a free kick now, 30 yards out. They play it quickly and they play it from right to left. Shooting chance for Granit Xhaka. Rather screwed that one low into the box. It was somewhere between a pass and a shot, and it didn't really do either, but Arsenal have picked it up again with Gabriel. 30 yards out. Arsenal camped now on the edge of West Ham's final third. They get it down towards the byline. Declan Rice picks it up down near his own corner flag, and West Ham will get it away, but only half cleared once again. Xhaka picks it up again on that edge of the West Ham final third. Arsenal go to the right with Bukayo Saka, cuts back to his left foot and passes it to a central position. Arsenal spreading it from right to left, and they do have it down parallel to the edge of the penalty area. Cross comes in and it's headed away, and the second header is also from a black shirt. And West Ham have a free kick now. Mikel Antonio bundled to the ground, 15 yards shy of the halfway line. Free kick in the defensive half for West Ham United, who've dealt well since they've gone ahead. Gabriel just bundling Mikel Antonio to the ground. West Ham's free kick. They've lost 11 of their last 12 visits to Emirates Stadium, West Ham United. But they're looking good here so far. Only 30% possession for the Hammers. But crucially, they've got the goal from it, and there'll be several teams up in the top 4 or 5 of the Premier League who will be delighted with this scoreline right now. Not so the bottom 6 or 7, who won't want to see West Ham add 3 points to their tally. They found something of their UEFA Europa Conference League form tonight. They were 6-0-0 in that, won all 6 of their group stage games. But at the same time, they've really struggled in the Premier League. They are, however, unbeaten in 4 games away from home. They've shown some of those more positive traits tonight in this game so far. They've been organised at the back. They didn't panic after Arsenal scored the early goal, but that one was ruled out by the offside flag. Arsenal yet to get one on the board that counts today. Bukayo Saka's goal chalked off. Saïd Benrahma's goal for West Ham very much counts. Arsenal pass it back to Aaron Ramsdale, who's waiting for it in the D. Ramsdale in his yellow socks, shorts and shirt goes short to William Saliba, the man who fouled Jared Bowen for the West Ham penalty. Arsenal with 3 attempts so far, just 1 on target. West Ham have had a couple. Both have come from West Ham's Saïd Benrahma. First one was gathered easily by Ramsdale. The second one flew past him from the penalty spot right down the middle. Arsenal player dipping through ball towards the edge of the box, but it doesn't work out. Ben White tried that one. Arsenal pick it up again, 15 yards inside the West Ham half. They play it out towards the touchline on the right. Cresswell hauls Bukayo Saka down. Saka gets up and carries on with it. Michael Oliver signals for the attacking to continue, and Arsenal do continue indeed. Thomas Partey in a central position in towards Kieran Tierney. Gathers a few yards. Arsenal have it in the penalty area. It's ricocheting back and forth, and Fabianski keeps it in. The initial shot was blocked, and then it cannoned back towards the West Ham goal. Fabianski was alert enough to scramble down to his right and stop the ball crossing the byline. West Ham have the ball in the hands, in the gloves of Łukasz Fabianski, the man who's played 70 times for Arsenal in his career. Ødegaard has it. 5 yards into West Ham territory. Ødegaard gets it back in the centre circle, and Ben White has it now. Still Arsenal coming up against a wall of 11 black shirts, or 10 black shirts and the grey shirt of the goalkeeper. To be more specific, Ben White has it now, halfway into West Ham territory. Saka over on the right hand side, down past the edge of the penalty area. Saka again in that right wing forward position, plays the overlap for Ben White. It's a nice one. Ben White cuts back, free to make the cross. He didn't make it a particularly good one. Had the chance to cross on the right foot, faked it really nicely, just stood on the ball instead. The defender slid right past Ben White, and then White had all the time in the world to play the cross with his left. He stood it up a little bit too far past the back post. Let off that for West Ham United. Still Arsenal 0, West Ham 1. 6 minutes or thereabouts remaining in the first half. There will be some stoppage time after referee Michael Oliver had to look very carefully at Bukayo Saka's goal for Arsenal before ruling it out. Arsenal have it again, just outside the D. They're so comfortable in possession inside the final third for West Ham, but they haven't turned that yet into a really good shooting opportunity since Bukayo Saka's goal that was ruled out. Partey penalised there, and West Ham have a free kick in a central position halfway inside their own half. Lucas Paqueta, the new man from Lyon, 2 assists so far in his 8 Premier League appearances. Here come West Ham at the other end, shot sliced wide by the left foot of Michail Antonio. Just tried to cut back one way then the other and launched it with the left foot, but it didn't work out. Timed his run well, Antonio. Stood up against the Arsenal defence quite well, couldn't beat them. Tried to take the shot before taking on William Saliba in the end. He was still goal side of Antonio, but Michail Antonio's shot skewed away high and wide with the left foot. Arsenal have it now in the centre circle, looking to burst forward into West Ham territory, and they do so. Vladimir Koufal has to be alert to come over to that one, and Slide tackles it out for an Arsenal throw-in, level with the edge of the West Ham penalty area. They play it from the left into the middle. Ødegaard turns back. Ødegaard makes himself a little bit of room, but he's got nowhere to go now. Goes down a cul-de-sac once again. Arsenal spread it across towards Ben White. Saka on the corner of the box, perhaps a shooting chance, goes for the 1-2 instead. Ødegaard now has it in the D. Arsenal so content to do these short passes, but will something break free for them in the penalty area? Not this time. It looked for all the world as though a little bit of free space would leave Arsenal with an excellent shooting opportunity inside the penalty area, but it just never fell for them. West Ham staying alert, nobody committing themselves too early, everybody staying up on their feet, and they were able to get the ball away. But Arsenal, relentless in their pressure, will come forward. Shooting chance again for Ødegaard, perhaps. Cuts on from right foot to left foot. Spreads the ball to the left of the penalty area. Arsenal have it up against the edge of the box. The cross from Gabriel Martinelli is out for an Arsenal throw-in. Again, just level with the edge of the West Ham penalty area on the left-hand side. Into the last few minutes of the first 45. Still West Ham leading by a goal to nil. Still Arsenal coming forward all the time. Referee gives the advantage to Arsenal, but Martinelli's cross from the left is wildly overhit. Side-footed it first time from the left of the penalty area and just cannoned the ball straight over everybody and out for a goal kick. That was a let-off for West Ham United. Nketiah had been fouled just outside the penalty area. Michael Oliver played the advantage, but Martinelli rather spoiled it for the Gunners. Last few minutes, and Fabianski will eat up a few seconds by letting this one just rest on the edge of his 6-yard box before running forward and going long with the right foot again, aiming out towards the right wing forward position. That's where West Ham have tried things today. Throw in for Arsenal halfway inside their own half. And they'll go backwards probably towards the left back position. They do indeed decide to go for that. Gabriel has it. We've not seen much yet from Kieran Tierney. Ben White, the right back, has been more active down the right flank for Arsenal. Ødegaard turns around with 3 players surrounding him and gets away, and Arsenal can only go back towards the defenders. They've had far more of the action in the opposition half. They've not been able to do enough with it. West Ham win the challenge well on the Arsenal left, and now West Ham have it on their right. They're still stuck inside their own half though, West Ham, back inside their own D in fact, before they pass it forward. Paqueta controls it well, goes for the through ball. Then Rama would have been offside on the left-hand side for West Ham, but it's back instead with William Saliba. Xhaka now in the Arsenal half inside the centre circle. Martinelli on the halfway line over to the left for Arsenal. Not many red and white shirts visible in the crowd tonight, given the cold temperatures. Everyone just wearing the standard dark colours. The winter coats out in full force, as you'd expect at Emirates Stadium, but the Arsenal fans have not got much to cheer as we come towards the end of the first half. They trail by a goal to nil against 16th placed West Ham United, who have only won 4 games this season. David Moyes has had 21 games as a manager away against Arsenal. How many wins does Moyes have from those 21? Precisely 0. But for now, West Ham on top. There's a yellow card coming out here. Vladimir Koufal will become the second player to go into the book, and Martinelli, for the second time tonight, is down on the ground clutching his ankle. Koufal got the ball first, that's what he's complaining about, but the 30-year-old Czech followed through very heavily indeed with the studs up against Gabriel Martinelli. That is mitigated somewhat by the fact that he won the ball first, but then after that to follow through on Gabriel Martinelli, that is why referee Michael Oliver has brought out the yellow card. Koufal still in discussions with referee Michael Oliver about that. But the man who officiated 3 games at this winter's World Cup has got the nous and has got the experience to defend that decision against Koufal. The experienced Czech right back, along now with Jared Bowen on the right for West Ham, is in the book. Ødegaard has a free kick just 2 paces in from the touchline on the left-hand side, halfway into the West Ham half. He'll launch this one straight into the box. It's flicked on, but they can't get the second touch to turn it goalwards, and it's out for a West Ham goal kick. That might have been a bigger chance than it appeared at first. Free kick was whipped in with the left foot, curling towards the penalty spot. There's a nice flick on from Saka. Nobody could get on the end of it, and Nketiah still waiting. The man who scored 10 in his last 10 starts in all competitions, but conversely is yet to score in the Premier League this season. His goals have been confined to the EFL Cup, to friendlies, to the Europa League as well. Arsenal free kick. Mikel Antonio penalised over on the West Ham right flank, still in Arsenal territory, but now they have it on the halfway line with Ben White. We're into the 3 added minutes at the end of this first half. Less than 2 to go. Ben White on the right again gets the ball back, looks for an option, doesn't really have one, has to pass it across to fellow defender Saliba on the halfway line. Partey has it now again, just getting on the ball in a central position. Arsenal can't go forward. The tackle comes in from West Ham and they're forcing them back. Paqueta's penalised there. Saliba was facing towards his own goal. Paqueta clipped the ankles. Saliba has it back. Ben White again, just out to the right-hand side on the halfway line. That's been his normal position to pick the ball up. And again, he's gone for his regular option of passing it back across to Saliba in the centre circle. Again, Arsenal patient, looking for ways to unlock the door, but West Ham have the 1-goal lead. They don't need to do much. They can hit on the counter, and they've done it effectively so far. Saka pass in to nobody inside the penalty area. West Ham will get it away, and they'll go for the pass towards Michail Antonio. Not quite on the same wavelength as his teammate there, Michail Antonio. That was a chance in the last minute of this stoppage time for West Ham to have a break down the left flank, but they were squeezed up against the touchline. Antonio tried to go for the pass and run on for the 1-2. Played the ball just behind his on-rushing teammate. Stopped the attack dead. Arsenal have it over on the left-hand side now. Down towards the corner of the penalty area. Further down towards the byline now. Ball's deflected on its way through. Martinelli in no real wish to stop. He gets the ball straight back, continues his run, puts it down on the corner spot. 2 apiece now, as Arsenal have one last chance at the end of this first half with the set piece. What can Martinelli do with it? It'll be a right-footed in-swinging corner. 7 West Ham shirts inside the 6-yard box near the front post. That's where the ball's gathered. It's right in towards Fabianski, who punched it away from his near post. Ødegaard's shot is blocked in the box. He's appealing for handball, but the referee's blown for something here. Is this half-time? I believe it's going to be an Arsenal penalty instead of the half-time whistle. The time is elapsed in this stoppage time period. We'll have to look at it again more closely, and certainly Michael Oliver and the VAR team will be doing that. But Arsenal feel like their delivery into the box was blocked with a hand. It came from the left-hand side. It was passed across the middle. Ødegaard with the shot. First time with the left foot fired across his body. Did it hit a hand on the way through? It looked to me as though it hit the head of Aaron Cresswell. His hands were out in unnatural positions. You can see why Arsenal appealed for it. But it looked to me that it came off the forehead of Aaron Cresswell, and I don't think there'll be a penalty given here. I think Arsenal's reprieve at the end of this first half will not come to fruition. VAR's having a look. Cresswell's arms are up, but it comes off the forehead. VAR's going to take a look at it, and they should be able to instruct Michael Oliver quite clearly that that one has indeed come off the forehead and not the hands. The hands were outstretched. Cresswell's right arm came across his body. The left arm was away up to his side, and had the ball come back off his left arm, he wouldn't have had much defence against it. Still, I'm not exactly sure why this has to happen, to be honest. Michael Oliver now trotting over towards the VAR screen. I'm not sure why somebody can't just get in his ear there and say what they're seeing. There's another angle looking at it. Very, very hard to see, to conclude from that angle. What does Michael Oliver decide? No penalty. It was pretty clear, to be honest, and it took a few minutes to make that decision. Surely we'll have one more minute of play perhaps at the end of this first half now following that stoppage. But I don't know for all the world why the VAR team aren't just telling Michael Oliver that that one hit the forehead of Aaron Cresswell and not the arm. Why on earth do we have to wait for 2, 3, 4 minutes now for Michael Oliver to trudge all the way over to the monitor, have a look and make the call for himself, when it was so clear from the first replay? Nothing malicious in the intent of the Arsenal players to appeal it. Cresswell's hands were up, they were all over the place, and they were in unnatural positions, but the ball only hit his head. And now Fabianski will launch it into the night sky, and that will be the last action of the first half here. The referee's whistle goes. Michael Oliver brings an end to the first half. West Ham United lead thanks to Said Benrahma's penalty. Arsenal, the Premier League leaders, in trouble at the break. Stay with us on Live Score here on Flash Score live audio commentary service, because we'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half between Arsenal and West Ham. The current score: Arsenal 0, West Ham United 1. trailing at the break by a 1-0. West Ham's penalty in the 27th minute from Said Benrahma has put the guests 1-0 up in this London derby. That is not what Arsenal wanted. They're trying to hit the ground running at the top of the Premier League table. And they're trying to do it without a few players. There's an injury list for both teams tonight, but Gabriel Jesus missing for Arsenal, of course. One of the most notable omissions for the league's table-topping side right now. Emil Smith-Rowe also missing out. Reece Nelson picked up a knock recently for Arsenal in their last winter friendly against Juventus. Taka Tomiyasu also missing out. But West Ham have key injuries of their own. Kurt Zouma missing in defence. He's played 14 times this season. Not available tonight. He's had knee surgery. Missed out in all of West Ham's winter friendlies as well. Maxwell Cornet missed the last 7 games with a calf problem. But here comes Michael Antonio early in the second half. Fires towards the near post. Arsenal keep it out. Good stop. Solid hands from Aaron Ramsdale. But that was a good half, and that'll be concerning to Arsenal. Just a minute into this second period, Michael Antonio was somehow free to just gallop down the right-hand side and fire the ball with his right foot towards the near post. Ramsdale palmed it away, and it was chested back cleverly towards the goalkeeper, who managed then to gather it safely for Arsenal. But West Ham leading by 1-0, and now they've had the first half chance there of the second 45 minutes. And I said in the first half that the stats were massively stacked against West Ham. Lost 11 of their last 12 at the Emirates. David Moyes with 21 away games as a coach against Arsenal, yet to win any of them. They've only won 1 of 8 on Boxing Day, and they've only won 1 in their last 6. But yet now the tables have turned given the half-time score. Arsenal have only won 1 of their last 25 Premier League matches when they've trailed at half-time. They've lost 20 of those as well. And West Ham themselves have lost just 1 of 24 when they've been leading at the interval. So, suddenly West Ham looking to be in a good position. Saka driving towards the edge of the penalty area. Arsenal have it with Partey from the edge of the box. It's low and it's saved by Fabianski, and it's behind, off the fingertips of the Polish goalkeeper for an Arsenal corner. Arsenal just worked it from the right across into the middle. Partey was in a central position just 6 yards outside the edge of the penalty area, just near the corner of the D. Struck it well, struck it smoothly with the right foot. It was low, but it was tipped away. Arsenal corner on the right-hand side. Bukayo Saka ready to take this one. He scored 4 and got 6 assists this season. Can he get another one? Corner's really deep towards the goal line. Arsenal have been going for those today. Fabianski's not happy. Now Mikel Arteta asking what was wrong with that. Nketiah, the striker, was just backing in on goalkeeper Lucas Fabianski, but there didn't appear to be too much in it. Arsenal putting Fabianski directly under all kinds of pressure from the corner kicks, taking the kind of corners that could easily end up going straight into the back of the net. But Arsenal looking a little bit sluggish on the whole here on Boxing Day. I'm not going to make the obligatory comment about having eaten too many mince pies, but you can say so far that there hasn't been much for the Christmas crowd at the Emirates Stadium to be cheerful about. Arsenal have looked ever so comfortable in possession. They've pushed forward into the final third time and time again. But in terms of really asking questions of Fabianski, and in fact the West Ham defence in general, they haven't really been able to do it. It's one thing to have possession in the final third, it's another thing to turn that into shooting chances, and this was the old criticism of Arsenal sides in years gone by, that they can't turn possession into goals. They can't walk the ball into the back of the net. They've got to try to find some incision, get in behind the West Ham defence. West Ham managed it just once, really, in the first 45 minutes, and that concluded with William Saliba bringing down Jarrod Bowen for the penalty, which has given West Ham the lead. Arsenal perhaps a touch unfortunate, having had Bukayo Saka's early goal ruled out and then were denied by VAR a penalty kick with the last seconds of the first half, but it was the right decision in the end. Aaron Cresswell penalised initially. Michael Oliver pointed to the spot, but Arsenal did not have the penalty. The ball had come off Cresswell's forehead, but Arsenal need to just find an extra injection of pace here. Something else to turn this around. Bowen has had an aerial clash there with Kieran Tierney, who's gone down and stayed down. Arteta's not particularly happy. Tierney still down on the turf, clutching his forehead. It's a loose arm, perhaps, from Jarrod Bowen, who has been booked, but no indication at this point, 5 minutes into the second half, that the referee's considering a second booking for Jarrod Bowen. Tierney now slowly being helped to his feet. Bowen has rather led with the elbow there. You could see a referee giving that if he'd had the view in beautiful high definition and slow motion. Of course, he's got to call it as he sees it initially. It's an Arsenal free kick just a step behind the halfway line on the left-hand side, and they take it across the middle with Gabriel towards William Saliba. And now Ben White at right back. It's across again, halfway back into their own half for Arsenal. They've had the lion's share of the possession. They've made the lion's share of the running. But they trail by a goal to nil, crucially. Premier League drama here on Matchday 17 on the Flash Score live audio commentary service and on flashscore.co.uk. We've had plenty of Premier League drama already today on Boxing Day. Liverpool returns to action with a win. Wolves left it oh so late against Everton to move themselves off the bottom of the Premier League table. But this one will close out the action for Boxing Day 2022. Can West Ham hold on for what would be a massive win? Tracking back Thomas Partey. Declan Rice thought he was away there towards the halfway line. Thomas Partey had other ideas. Arsenal bring it in from right to a central position. Odegaard has a shot and it falls short for Arsenal, who slotted in. Will the offside flag deny Bukayo Saka for the second time today? It will not. And Arsenal are indeed level. Applause from Mikel Arteta on the sidelines. There was a touch of fortune in that leveller for Arsenal. Perhaps a touch of fortune, the kind that you'll get when you spend so much time in the opposition's final third. Odegaard's shot was not intended for Bukayo Saka. Odegaard drifted in from the right to the middle, took a shot from 25 yards, struck it low. The ball stayed on the turf, never got it off the ground. But it was controlled as if it was a perfectly placed pass for Bukayo Saka. The 21-year-old Englishman controlled it and slotted it away into the bottom corner of Łukasz Fabianski's goal. And suddenly, early in this second half, Arsenal are level. Saka with goal number 5 of this Premier League campaign. The young academy player really continuing his strong form. Finished brilliantly in the 5th minute before being denied by the offside flag. That time, though, luckily for him and luckily for the Gunners, Saka was standing in an onside position when that shot from Odegaard came towards him. It'll go down as an Odegaard assist, his 3rd of the season, another scorer point for the 24-year-old Norwegian. But I'm not convinced that he meant that. Here come Arsenal breaking away from the edge of their own penalty area. Odegaard with nice footwork to get the ball tight up against the touchline. Arsenal have it wide on the right with Saka. He's bundled to the ground by Lucas Paqueta. The Brazilian waves his arm in frustration in the direction of referee Michael Oliver, but it will be an Arsenal free kick on the wide right, just 10 yards into the West Ham half. Saka did really well to hold that up, actually. That's what Gabriel Jesus has been so good at this season, getting the ball in attacking positions for Arsenal and just holding it up, allowing others to have space and time to do what they want to with the ball. Now Gabriel has it for Arsenal, looks out towards the left. Tierney down parallel with the edge of the West Ham penalty area, goes back out at a 45-degree angle towards a central position. Arsenal have it 30 yards out, and now they're back on the edge of the penalty area, and it's down with Martinelli on the left. Cuts back to the corner of the penalty area, looks for a chip pass into the middle, and Ketcher can't quite control it though, stuck a foot out to do so, but it just fizzed right past the boot and the shin at the same time of Eddie Nketiah. And the man with 10 goals in his last 10 starts in all competitions did not get a shooting chance there. But has the pendulum now swung back towards Arsenal? Arteta, a very, very animated figure on the sideline. How crucial was that though for Arsenal to get back level early on in this second half? They've got still just about 40 minutes rather, you'd imagine, before the whistle is blown for the end of this game. Arsenal 1, West Ham 1. Arsenal responding through Saka to Said Benrahma's penalty. West Ham have it inside their own half, but they've not had much of the ball yet today. They don't look particularly confident on it now. The players have gone for so long without having many touches. West Ham can't believe this. Thomas Soucek has been penalised. You don't see those too often. He's been penalised for obstruction, and now Paqueta has blocked the resulting free kick. Arsenal have it 15 yards inside West Ham's half, central left position. They go out to Kieran Tierney on the left, parallel with the edge of the box. He goes back though towards Gabriel. Gabriel thinks about an early cross into the box, finds Tierney again though in space. Tierney's left-footed cross is blocked. Might come back to Tierney. The Scottish left back instead has to watch as the ball goes back down towards the halfway line with Gabriel. Arsenal chip it forward down the left. West Ham throw in front of the substitutes who are warming up. West Ham throw in their right back position, and it will be indeed the right back, Kufal, who takes it. Saka's goal 8 minutes into the second half, just stroked calmly into the corner of the goal. He was not going to miss when that opportunity presented itself. The hard bit was controlling the shot from Ødegaard. I'm still convinced that was a shot from Ødegaard that came to Saka, but he stopped it dead. And once he'd done that, the hard part was done. Sat Fabianski down and slotted it in. The bad news for Arsenal today, perhaps, that Eddie Nketiah has not quite looked like the forward that Arsenal need to replace Gabriel Jesus at the moment. He's been a little absent. So we've seen more of Ødegaard, we've seen more of Martinelli, Bukayo Saka as well, of course, on the score sheet now. Nketiah yet to really sink his teeth into this game. Saka fighting for it so well there. Central position, 35 yards out. Knocked it off to Ødegaard. And now Xhaka, left-hand side of the penalty area. Martinelli goes near post from the left and puts Arsenal in front. Just 5 minutes after they level it up, Martinelli somehow found the angle to slot in for Arsenal. And the turnaround is complete. Martinelli with goal number 6 of the season. And I said earlier that Saka, Ødegaard and Martinelli were really showing themselves to be the informed players that we've seen so far from them this season. And now Saka on the score sheet and Martinelli joins him there too. Just onside. Martinelli from a tight angle, 7 yards out, but way out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. And Fabianski, in all honesty, will be very, very disappointed with that one. He flicked his right foot at it down near the front post, but could only nudge the ball into the back of his own net. The experienced Polish goalkeeper should have been doing better with that one. He just left a hint of the front post open for Gabriel Martinelli, and the 21-year-old Brazilian found the space. Fabianski looks pretty disappointed with himself, as well he might be after that. West Ham's lead wiped out in a matter of moments. It's now Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. Not yet an hour played. Full credit to Gabriel Martinelli for spotting the open door at the front post. It should never really have been left for him, but there was still a lot to do from the position that he was in. He controlled the pass well. Arsenal have been in that position several times tonight. It's not a new place for them to pick up the ball. They've been both left and right in the penalty area from angles like that, but rather than crossing or trying to pick somebody out in the box, he went direct for the near post, and he was rewarded for the risk that he took. Xhaka and Paqueta just getting involved in a slight altercation. West Ham's free kick inside their own half. Cresswell launches it down the left. It's going to be run out of play by William Saliba. It will be West Ham throw-in down past the edge of the penalty area, just about 15 yards away from the corner flag on the left-hand side for West Ham. Aaron Cresswell looking around for options. Arsenal surviving so far from the rocky moments of the first half. And suddenly, I won't say it looks like plain sailing, but they will feel very, very different indeed, having turned it around 15 minutes after the break. Arsenal 2, West Ham 1 now on Flash Score's live audio commentary service and on flashscore.co.uk. You can join us again tomorrow for more Premier League action. Chelsea against Bournemouth at 5:30 British time, and Manchester United against Nottingham Forest, the later game at 8 o'clock GMT in the UK. Of course, you can listen to that around Europe 1 hour later, Central European time. And there's Leeds against Man City as well on Wednesday the 28th of December, 8 PM UK time. Arsenal passing this around in triangles inside their own penalty area. Slight heart-in-mouth moments for some of the Arsenal fans, I'm sure. Michail Antonio wasn't too far away from those passes, but Arsenal do get it away down the right-hand side. They're 5 yards inside their own half, and now the launch, a long switching ball towards Tierney, who brings it down really well. First touch with the left foot. Tierney gets it across the 6-yard box, deflected and into the arms of Łukasz Fabianski. He's making an important contribution now in this second half, Tierney. We didn't see too much of him in the first. It was more left to Ben White, but now Ødegaard has it on the right for Arsenal. He's won that back, parallel to the edge of the penalty area. Saka has it, lifts it towards the back post, and too far surely. Martinelli actually managed to keep that in, and Martinelli's efforts have been rewarded with a corner for Arsenal. West Ham with some concerned faces now. It's been 5 fabulous minutes for Arsenal, and suddenly, from West Ham leading 1-0, now they trail by 1. Arsenal have fought their way back into this, and Martinelli, who earned the corner by chasing down that slightly overhit cross, he headed it back across into the box and won the corner for Arsenal, but he's taken it himself and it's been cleared at the near post. Nobody there to pick it up except Aaron Ramsdale, all in yellow, who's up by the halfway line for Arsenal. Ramsdale, he's played that out towards Gabriel, who's pushed to the ground, hauled to the ground. Arsenal free kick. Just over on the right-hand side. 15 fouls now committed by the West Ham 11. Ødegaard marking his territory, putting his feet down, making some stud marks, getting ready to take this one. Still standing right by the ball, Ødegaard, the Arsenal captain, so he won't be taking it just yet. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger, 15 yards away from the edge of the box. He does curl it in towards the penalty spot. It drifted down too close to the 6-yard box and too close to the West Ham back line, who get it away. They have it now at the left-back position. Arsenal fighting to win it back, and they almost do with Granit Xhaka, but in the end it's back with West Ham in their penalty area. Free kick actually went against the Arsenal press there. Cresswell takes a touch with his left hand and gets the ball restarted for a West Ham free kick in their own half. They've got it with Vladimir Kufal. Arteta out on the edge of his touchline, almost wanted to step forward and take a touch there. The ball was so close to the touchline as West Ham played it forward down the right that Arteta was just inches away from the players in the action. Arteta himself almost must have been tempted to block it himself, but West Ham go down the right hand side, and they might have picked up a corner for themselves with Michail Antonio Saliba it was who gives away the corner. Both teams then scrapping away down near the byline for their respective causes, and both teams being rewarded with a dead ball situation that looked a little unlikely. "65 minutes gone here in the last Premier League game of Boxing Day. Bowen's corner to the edge of the 6-yard box. Everybody crowded around the 6-yard box again. That's both teams' corners today. It's been all about getting it into the 6-yard box, but West Ham have it all the way now back with the goalkeeper Fabianski, who was beaten at his near post a few moments ago for Martinelli's goal that, as it stands, gives Arsenal a 2-1 lead. West Ham making a rare foray in the second half into Arsenal territory. It's the goal scorer Benrahma down by the left of the penalty area, and he's won a throw-in for West Ham down by the corner flag. Ødegaard got the block in, diverted the ball out of play. West Ham all in black today. Get it thrown in with Cresswell, who goes up the line, up and away from the Arsenal penalty area. Space in the middle though. Could be a shot from 35 yards out, and there is, off the right foot. It wasn't a particularly good one from Thilo Kehrer, the defender who's not scored for West Ham in his 18 appearances, the former PSG and Schalke player. He went for it from way, way out, but got his foot right underneath the ball and scooped it over the top. Arteta and his team thinking back on those 2 goals in this second half. Bukayo Saka after 53 minutes. Gabriel Martinelli after 58. West Ham on the halfway line, wide left. They go back to the left back and all the way back again to Fabianski on the penalty spot. Nketiah closing down, and Nketiah's going to try and win this back on the edge of the final third for Arsenal, but West Ham keep him at arm's length, but have to go all the way back to Fabianski once again. Paqueta all the way inside his own penalty area. Lucas Paqueta, the Brazilian, just desperate to get something started for West Ham. It's not exactly panic stations for them yet, but they will be dismayed to have seen their lead turned into a deficit. That's confident goalkeeping from Aaron Ramsdale. There was a long ball bouncing down the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area on West Ham's left. They were trying to put the Arsenal defence under a bit of pressure, but out came Aaron Ramsdale, crossed the line on the right of his own penalty area, won the header, and even followed up the ball to stop it going out for a throw-in. Booted it down the right flank for Arsenal, where it's a West Ham throw-in on their left, but Arsenal have won this back inside the West Ham half. They've got it right in the middle of West Ham's half with Xhaka. He lays it off for Martinelli, who's dribbling left and right towards the edge of the box. Xhaka again might have a go there, almost a little bit of room opening up for Xhaka, but he gets it back now on the D, and Nketiah turns and finishes brilliantly for Arsenal. Suddenly from 1-0 down, they lead 3-1. And Nketiah makes it 11 in his last 11 starts in all competitions. And perhaps more importantly than that for Arsenal fans, it's his first Premier League goal of the season on appearance number 13. And the Arsenal former academy player took that goal so well. Xhaka's pass across the edge of the box. It came back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard just deftly dropped the ball into the penalty area for Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah spun around Thilo Kehrer. Away from goal he went initially. Kehrer blocked him going directly for the goal. Nketiah instead dropped the shoulder, turned around over his left shoulder, and then fired in across Lucas Fabianski and in at the back post. It was a goal of real quality from the 23-year-old Englishman. Eddie Nketiah putting Arsenal 3-1 ahead. How important is that for him? How important is that for the Gunners? Big boots to fill indeed in the absence of Gabriel Jesus. And Eddie Nketiah has seized his moment. I said he was a little absent in the first half, but how about that as a way to make your mark. And Nketiah reacted so well to Ødegaard's pass. That's the second assist now of the day for Ødegaard. The first one came with a touch of fortune. But Arsenal have been brilliant in this second half. Suddenly, with just over 70 minutes gone, it is 3-1. I'm sure Arsenal fans will be delighted to see Nketiah, of all people, on the score sheet for the Gunners today. They'll need goals from Nketiah. They'll need goals from the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Bukayo Saka, both players who've been in amongst the goals today. And Ødegaard yet to be on the score sheet, but 2 assists. I think Arsenal fans will accept that from their Norwegian captain. Here comes Nketiah, wide left on the halfway line, lays it in field for Martinelli, who looked to have been fouled, but gets back to his feet. Arsenal coming forward with Ødegaard, lays it out to the right-hand side this time. Cross is blocked, Arsenal corner over on the right-hand side. They're bursting forward, they're sweeping forward at will now, Arsenal. And they were so comfortable on the ball in the West Ham half in the first half, but they couldn't turn that into chances. Now they seem to be able to do so. Ødegaard just looks to have all the room in the world to find Arsenal teammates in the final third. That was a sweeping move again, transitioning from defence to attack, from left to right. And it's ended up with an Arsenal corner. The Premier League leaders showing their character now. They've won only once in 25 games when trailing at half-time. Well, they trailed at half-time on Boxing Day today, and they don't look like losing for now. There's still a lot of football to be played. Tierney picks it up 5 yards outside the penalty area. It goes back to Xhaka, who swings that ball with his left foot towards the penalty area. And he's fouled Michail Antonio, who's spinning away and trying to break for West Ham. Still halfway back into West Ham's half. Bit of a clumsy one from Xhaka, just stuck out the left foot, hand up straight away. He didn't expect Antonio to turn like that. He got his arm up above the shoulder of the Jamaican forward, hauled him to the ground. Declan Rice trying to make the case, actually, to Michael Oliver that had Antonio been able to turn freely there, he might well have been away, and there should have been a booking, perhaps, for Xhaka. Antonio now taking up the cause himself, but no booking for Arsenal's Xhaka. Fabianski hooks the ball away under some pressure from inside his 6-yard box. Zinchenko, who's just come on for Arsenal, first substitution for them, wins the ball back for Arsenal halfway into their own half. But that's another nice turn now for West Ham. Antonio starting to cause danger in the second half. West Ham on the break, 5 black shirts going forward. They're down on the left-hand side of the area. It's fired over from Saïd Benrahma's left foot. He went from it from a left-handed position, a left-sided position in the penalty area, went for it on the left foot as well, but just skewed the ball over the right angle at the near post. It's Kieran Tierney who has been withdrawn for Arsenal. Zinchenko on in his place. Good news for Arsenal to have Zinchenko back. Zinchenko missed the winter friendlies for Arsenal. Ramsdale near his own goal mouth, just knocks it away across to the right hand side. Arsenal have it in the middle of their own half with Eddie Nketiah. What a relief that will be for Nketiah as well to get on the score sheet in the Premier League this season. He's made important contributions, of course, to Arsenal in the past. It's not like he's a novice or a newcomer by any means. He's just been deputising this season, really. And now it's his time to shine up front for Arsenal. He needs to take the opportunity. He's made a step towards it today with that goal. Arsenal 3, West Ham United 1 on Flash Score's live audio commentary service. More Premier League action in the next couple of days. Chelsea, United, Man City, all in action over the next 2 days. You can find those games, of course, live on Flash Score's audio commentary service as well. For now, we hope you're enjoying this one wherever you are. And I'm afraid if you're a West Ham fan, it might not be such an enjoyable listen at the moment. Arsenal turning a 1-0 deficit at the break into a 3-1 lead. And they're battling and battling and battling. And Said Benrahma, after 2 or 3 bites at the cherry, is penalised. Arsenal will have a free kick from a central position, just a couple of steps towards the right. 30 yards out, could be a direct free kick opportunity. Granit Xhaka is inspecting the yellow Nike football very carefully, looking for the position where he wants to strike it with his orange boots. And it's a luxurious problem now to have for Mikel Arteta if he's thinking of buying another deputy up front, buying somebody to share the workload with Eddie Nketiah. That might well be a move that we see from Arsenal in January, as the free kick is lashed straight into the wall by Xhaka. Zinchenko with a heavy challenge as West Ham look to break, but Zinchenko timed it perfectly, says Michael Oliver. No free kick. Arsenal have it back in the centre circle and they spread it towards the right hand side. Ødegaard making a beeline in from the right towards the goal. Knocks it out to Saka. Flag stays down. Ødegaard has a shot and he curls it wide past the far post. Little grimace from the Norwegian player as he saw that one spinning past the despairing dive of Fabianski, but also past the far post. Might have been a VAR check there for offside. He exchanged passes with Bukayo Saka before taking that shot. Saka looked to me to have been just into an offside position. Fabianski gets it up into the air. Less than 15 minutes to go. Arsenal want the free kick with Thomas Partey 10 yards into their own half, but they've got the ball in the same position instead. Zinchenko, the substitute, who's replaced Tierney. Good run out, you could call that, for the Scottish left back tonight. Important minutes under his belt as he recovers. And Arsenal in general just looking to recover the good form that they showed. They were in such a stride going into the winter break. 44 days off is not what you need when you're top of the Premier League. Offside flag up against Eddie Nketiah on the left hand side. The flag was very, very late, but it looked to be pretty clear cut. Nketiah a good couple of yards behind the back line as West Ham look to make a change. There'll be Thomas Souček coming off. We've not seen much of Souček in this second half. 27-year-old Czech player, scored once and assisted once in the Premier League this season. He's replaced by Fornals. Can Pablo Fornals mastermind something? Can David Moyes mastermind something? His barren spell as a coach away against Arsenal now certainly looks like continuing. They've lost 11 of 12 at the Emirates Stadium. They're 2 behind now. So different to how things looked for the Hammers at half-time. 10 minutes to go. Arsenal leading by 3-1. The turnaround has come courtesy of Saka, Martinelli and Eddie Nketiah. Arsenal's next fixture, Brighton. After that, at home against Newcastle and then away against Tottenham as well. West Ham's next game, Brentford at home. Busy fixture list, of course. Brentford, Leeds and then Wolves. For West Ham United, Leeds and Wolves being away from home, Brentford being at home in East London. West Ham really struggling this season on 14 points, maybe looking at a 10th defeat of the season. It's a bit premature for that just yet, as West Ham go down the left-hand side, down towards the edge of the penalty area, but Arsenal can break away here down the right with Nketiah. Chests the ball down and gallops away over on the right. He's a step inside from the touchline halfway into West Ham territory, but turns back, feeds it to Ødegaard, who's got so much room to work with in the middle. Zinchenko to his left. He does use Zinchenko, who's a couple of steps behind him. Zinchenko goes towards Martinelli, over on the touchline in front of the Arsenal dugout. Arteta still waving his players forward. Zinchenko turns back and goes towards the halfway line. He's just 4 or 5 steps into West Ham territory now, Zinchenko, as he volleys it with his left foot across into the centre circle. Arsenal on the ball with Gabriel inside their own half. Arsenal, interestingly, they were far more dominant in terms of possession in the first 45 minutes than they trailed in that half. In the second half, it's been a much closer run thing. Arsenal still on top in terms of possession, but not anywhere near by the same margins, 58-42. But this time they've got 3 goals with their 58% possession instead of no goals from their 70% and then some from the first half. Quick interplay with Zinchenko. Martinelli on the left. A similar position from where he scored from earlier on in the game. This time his cross flashes across the face of the goal. West Ham win it down by the touchline over in the left-back position, but Arsenal have won it back in the penalty area. Could be a shooting chance, and there is, and it's well wide. Again, Ødegaard with head in hands. He's got his 2 assists, but how dearly he would love to add a 7th Premier League goal of the season. He was right on the line of the edge of the box, a left-footed shot, swerving and dipping, but similar to a shot that he made earlier. That one was away to the right of Lukasz Fabianski. It's Fabianski now who blasts the ball downfield. Thomas Partey displaying admirable dedication to the cause, getting up highest to win the aerial battle. Could have let it come down. Wasn't allowing either Jared Bowen or Michail Antonio to get anywhere near that high ball. Won it for himself and came clattering back down to the turf. But he's up and away and fine. Gabriel has it. Arsenal 10 yards away from the halfway line inside their own half as Zinchenko turns back towards his own goal. No rush now from the Gunners. They found exactly the answers that they were looking for in this second half. Mikel Arteta had some questions at the break. Whatever he asked of his squad, they have really come up with it. 3 goals in this second half, and they're now in a comfortable position, having been very much uncomfortable at the break. Arsenal on the right of the penalty area. They just run out of room there. Ødegaard tried to gallop forward and make a few yards from the edge of the box down the right hand side, but the West Ham defence stood firm that time. Zinchenko in the centre circle. Arsenal still making so much of the running. We've hardly seen anything of West Ham as an attacking threat since the 46th minute, when Michail Antonio had a pretty decent half chance to make it 2-0 to West Ham. Would Arsenal have had the answers then? How would Arsenal have responded to going 2 down? 45 seconds into this second half, Antonio fired the ball with his right foot towards the near post and the top corner of Aaron Ramsdale's goal, but Ramsdale parried it away to safety. And since then, Arsenal haven't looked back, you'd have to say. Arsenal leading by 3-1, having trailed 1-0 at the break. You're live with us on Flash Score's audio commentary service. Boxing Day Premier League action. I hope you're comfortable, and I hope you're happy, and I hope you've had a happy holidays wherever you're watching this one. If you're a Gunners fan, this might be a considerably happier holiday now that 3 goals have come in the second half. Saka goes for a low cross from the right hand side. It's knocked away for an Arsenal throw-in, down level with the edge of the penalty area on Arsenal's right flank. Saka again just controlled the ball really, really well. It was played into his stride by, you guessed it, Martin Ødegaard. Saka delayed his stride so well to take the ball into his path, and now Arsenal have another shot, and it's a diving header from the defender to get it away. Craig Dawson doing a good job there, the 32-year-old. Only his 6th Premier League appearance of the campaign. He looked very fresh for that one. Ødegaard took it onto his left foot inside the penalty area on the right hand side of the box, fired it. Again, he's aimed across Fabianski for that back post 3 times now. Put it wide the first 2 times. I think that one might have been on target, but Craig Dawson rendered that irrelevant with a diving header. Arsenal corner. Less than 5 minutes to play, plus a bit of stoppage time, whatever Michael Oliver decides. Corner from the right-hand side for Arsenal. It's flicked on in front of the goalkeeper and over and away. West Ham goal kick. Saliba, the man who got all the way to the World Cup final with France, was in there up against the goalkeeper. Referee says the last touch came from the glove of Łukasz Fabianski. Saka will have another chance. Spins the ball backwards with his hands. Saka puts it down, as Premier League players tend to do, just outside of the little corner arch. Plays it in with the left foot in towards the penalty area. It's nodded away by West Ham. Arsenal have it back on the left. They're tucked up against the touchline now with Martinelli 10 yards away from the corner flag. Goes through the gap of the West Ham defenders, but goes past 2, but not quite cleanly enough, and he's stopped by the 3rd. But Martinelli himself comes back and gets a foot in on Jared Bowen to stop West Ham breaking away down their right flank. Throw in to West Ham halfway inside their own half. Mikel Arteta's right over there having a look at things. Mikel Antonio is withdrawn by David Moyes now in the last few minutes. His race is run. Stephen Mubama, 18 years of age, who comes on. Scored 4 times this season, Mubama, in the under-18 Premier League. Nice moment for him, the West Ham number 72. West Ham forwards trying to put some pressure on there as Arsenal knock it around near their own penalty area, but that's a lovely turn. Ødegaard getting out of a very, very tight spot over on the right-hand touchline. Brilliant skill, fantastic footwork from Ødegaard to just dance away from a couple of players. West Ham had him double marked there and facing the touchline. Bowen and Paqueta just left standing as Ødegaard did something akin to a Cruyff turn. A Cruyff turn through the middle of the 2 defenders chasing him. Martinelli now withdrawn for Arsenal. The substitutions begin to stack up. This game looks as though everybody is aware of what the result is going to be. Hug between Gabriel Martinelli and Mikel Arteta on the sideline. Fabio Vieira is on for Arsenal. The Portuguese player will be hoping to get a few touches, as will Devin Mubama rather. West Ham playing it away halfway inside their own half. It's out with the first of their substitutes, Fornals. Devin Mubama, the 18-year-old, does indeed get a touch on the ball and wins a free kick for his team too. Puts it down quickly 5 yards into the Arsenal half and plays it back towards Declan Rice on the halfway line. West Ham into the penalty area on the left-hand side. It's away for a West Ham corner. Saliba put it out of play. Arsenal weren't too happy with the decision initially. Saïd Benrahma with a nice run down the left into the penalty area. Saliba felt that his shorts were being tugged, but nonetheless he took the safe option and put it away. So we come into the 90th minute of the game. West Ham corner. They could make the last few minutes very interesting if they were to get something now. They pass it back into the centre circle. They might launch this one long into the box, and they do that towards the left-hand side of the area. It's headed down, but not away. Still a shooting chance for West Ham. Lucas Paqueta leaning back on his left foot and skying that one well above Aaron Ramsdale's goal. David Moyes takes a sip of water. in the dugout. He knows that this one is slipping away very, very quickly, having looked so promising early on for West Ham. They came here well organised, they put up a good first half, kept Arsenal at arm's length. Arsenal dominated, spent so much time in the final third, but West Ham were content to play on the counter, and they did it well on more than one occasion. But one particular instance of nice, crisp, quick passing and a long ball down the right-hand side led to a penalty which Said Benrahma converted calmly down the middle. And Arsenal trailed by a goal to nil, but that seems a long, long time ago now, as we're into the 4 minutes added on. The long ball is aimed down the West Ham right towards Fornals. It won't reach him though. Didier Mubama, who's making just a second senior appearance for West Ham today, is chasing after it in the middle, but Thomas Partey skips away into the West Ham half. Saka, who's already on the score sheet, plays it out left to Zinchenko. Arsenal pull it wide on the left. They lead by 3-1 now. Just a couple of minutes remaining in the game. Gabriel all the way back into the middle, inside Arsenal's own half for William Saliba. Arsene Wenger watching on. He'll be pleased with what he sees, unless he pretends to be neutral or claims that he didn't see it. Surely his gunner's heart is still there, despite his new job with FIFA. Saliba knocks it across to the right back, and it's all the way back for Aaron Ramsdale. Time ticking away. Mubama chases it forward into the penalty area, but Arsenal can pass it away with Xhaka. 10 yards in front of their own penalty area now. Arsenal's pass doesn't find Nketiah. That was a loose ball. We haven't seen too many of them in the second half from Arsenal, but Craig Dawson cut that one out easily. Gabriel Jesus watching on in a big black coat, keeping himself warm on this winter London evening. Or night, I suppose I can call it by now. Late enough here, the latest game of the day on Boxing Day. Arsenal leading, looking for 3 more points. Koufal has it on the right for West Ham. Mubama moving in the box, looking for a long ball, looking for something special. Perhaps it would only be a consolation goal now, but it would be a fantastic moment if Mubama was to score it. Nketiah controls the loose ball. It's bounced back towards Pablo Fornals. Fornals and Paqueta now into the middle of the Arsenal half. Arsenal's defence getting organised, and they're easily able to cut that pass out. Zinchenko goes forward. Arsenal still inside their own half, and West Ham have it back with Vladimir Koufal. But time is ticking away here. We're just seconds away from the end. It's going to finish with an Arsenal victory, you would imagine, barring something absolutely miraculous here in the Premier League. Koufal on the right, towards the corner of Arsenal's penalty area. Turns around and goes out towards Declan Rice on the right-hand side. Rice might float across into the box, and does indeed aim for the back post. Aaron Ramsdale looked to come over and claim it, but Vieira headed it away. Vieira's trying to block the cross coming in. Fornals, a bit of room perhaps for Fornals, and that took a good fingertip save from Aaron Ramsdale. He shrugged his shoulders afterwards, Ramsdale, perhaps to say, I'm not sure that was going in, but I wasn't going to give it a chance. And you know what? That certainly would have gone in had Ramsdale not gone across to it. Into the 94th minute here. It's a West Ham corner. That could have been a goal to reduce the deficit. It was a nice hit and a good diving save from Ramsdale, who was tested there. Got across to his left. It's the kind of save a goalkeeper likes, really. Looks great for the cameras. It's a lovely save, but at the same time, it's one that you'd expect him to make 10 times out of 10, really. A full stretch dive, but he had time to watch the ball curl towards the back post. He had time to spring and get towards it. The only way he would have failed to save it probably is had he lost his studs in the turf as he attempted the dive. Thomas Partey is withdrawn. Looks as though Mohamed El Neni will come on for Arsenal in the dying seconds here. Decent game from Thomas Partey. It's what you want from your holding midfielders, really. He wasn't all that visible. Went about his work quietly, Thomas Partey, but got back, made several challenges.